श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा। श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, जय राधा गोविंद राधे, जय राधा गोविंद राधे, जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय, जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा, निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji, just a second. Oops. It's all right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Welcome to today's discussion.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna. So last time we saw how Yudhishthir Maharaj, after having his younger brother Arjuna gone to Dwarka for more than 7 months, he is awaiting Arjuna's return very eagerly, anxiously, specifically to know about the well-being of all the Yadu dynasty, and also adding to his anxiety have been the bad omens that he is seeing all around, and he's also discussing on those bad omens that he's observing with Bhimasen. And finally, we saw Arjuna return from Dwaraka, but his state of being is completely dejected, completely down, and tears are rolling from his cheeks. And seeing his condition, Yudhishthir Maharaj is making several inquiries to Arjuna, starting with the inquiries about the Yaduvamshis. So, in the last set of verses that we discussed, text 35 and 36, we saw Yudhishthir Maharaj comparing the Yadavas, Lord's associates, with a Yadu dynasty with the ocean of milk. So, specifically, Hang on. Yeah. Specifically, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, so maybe we will revise a part of that purport because we also have a group activity on it. But in brief, the Yadu dynasty is compared by Yudhishthir Maharaj with Shirodaka ocean, the ocean of milk, where the Shirodakshaya Vishnu, the Paramatma aspect of the Lord, he resides. And there, Kshirodaksha Vishnu is lying on Anantashesh. So Balaramji, who is residing with Lord Krishna in Dwaraka, is compared to that Anantashesh. And Lord Krishna living with Balaramji is compared to Kshirodaksha Vishnu lying upon the snake bed of Anantashesh. And all the Vaikuntavasis, so the members of the Yadu dynasties, they are considered to the residents of the spiritual Vaikunta planets as the Mahapurushikas. So these are the glorification by Yudhishthir Maharaj of the Yadu Vamshis. So then we will specifically go through the purport of this set of text 35 and 36. So maybe let me share that screen. Oops. Sorry, this is chapter 14. Yes. So in this particular purport to text 35 and 36, Srila Prabhupada gives description of the spiritual world in relation to the material world. So we will start from here. Before we proceed, any devotees have any questions till what we discussed as part of connection with the last discussion? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. All right. Any devotee would like to read through this? Anyone who wants to read through? Hare Krishna. Gita Pradeep Mataji. Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Beyond the material sky, further than we can see with our eyes, and beyond the sevenfold coverings of the universe, that there is the casual ocean in which all the universes are floating like footballs, and beyond the casual ocean,
Causal ocean, Mataji.
causal ocean,
Yeah.
ocean, there is an unlimited span of spiritual sky, generally known as the effulgence of Brahman. Within this effulgence, then there are innumerable spiritual planets, and they are known as the Vaikunta planets. Each and every Vaikunta planet is many times bigger than the biggest universe within the material world. And each of them, there are innumerable inhabitants who look exactly like Lord Vishnu.
Thank you. Thank you. So here on the slide, let me make it big. Let me close chapter 15 PPT. We don't need it right now. So here in the picture, we can see the material universe, which is at the bottom, one universe where it is written. So within Karanaka ocean, which is the causal ocean, we have all different material universes which are emanating from the pores of the body of Mahavishnu. And in each of these universes, we have different planetary systems. Specifically talking about our universe, we have the upper planetary system, we have earthly planetary system, which is Martyaloka, and below Earth, we have the lower planetary systems, total 14 in number. And this causal ocean in which all the material universes are located, we have beyond that Brahma Jyoti, which is the effulgence from the body of the Lord. And beyond that Brahma Jyoti, we have the spiritual sky in which the spiritual planets are located, specifically the Vaikuntha planets. And beyond Vaikuntha planets, we also have the spiritual Dwarka, Jagannath Puri, Ayodhya, Navadvip, and we also have Mathura. And then topmost planet in the spiritual sky is the Goloka, Vrindavan. So the question to all of you is, after reading all these description of the spiritual world compared to the material, in relation to the material world, where specifically Prabhupada mentions that each of these Vaikuntha planets are bigger than the biggest of the material universes. That means one universe contains many planetary systems in this material world. But one Vaikuntha planet is bigger than even the biggest of the material universes. Probably give a thought, check that purport again, what we just read, and what conclusion can we draw from reading this description of the spiritual world in relation to the material world. Maybe you can take a minute or so to think and then raise your hand, whoever wants to answer. What is the conclusion we can draw? Is the asked question clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna.
Question is clear, Prabhu, but I don't know whether our answer will be appropriate. That is why.
You can try, Mataji, not. So maybe you can refer to that purport again and then structure your thought and then raise your hand. Oops. So we'll wait for a few minutes. Murli Prabhu, let other devotees also plan their answer. What do we understand by seeing the grandeur of the spiritual world? That material world is nothing in front of the spiritual creation of the Lord. It's very insignificant. So maybe we'll have Murli Prabhu to start with. Murli Prabhu, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
Prabhuji,
yeah.
the difference is laid out in a very nice way here, because material world, which is this current world, is spiritual plus the material nature, material part. And the material part is always associated with a beginning and an end. Whereas the one in the spiritual world, which is in an Ananta Shesha, is a completely purely spiritual world, basic that there is no material contamination. Therefore, it does not have any kind of beginning or end, and its opulences are also infinite. Okay? Whereas our opulences, our impacts and our things are quite finite because of the material nature, because there is no contamination of the material nature there. Therefore, it means that it is infinite in all aspects, and that is why it could be it. I mean, it is infinite in all senses. We cannot define that way. Yeah.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Murli Prabhuji. Rasarangini Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. From whatever the purport says, I'm just guessing, Prabhu, not very sure. So it is much bigger. And the Mahapaurishyakas means that the spiritual world people, that is the elevated souls, are more in number than the conditioned souls also, Prabhu. Though it is not explicitly said. So I'm just...
Definitely, they are much more in number. In fact, we are the defaulters. Like we often hear that in a classroom, we are the students who have been put outside the class because of being naughty children. So defaulters are very few. and there are so many liberated personalities. So spiritual world in size and numbers is definitely many times bigger than.
And their complete happiness, bliss, Janma Mrityu, Jara Vyadhi is not applicable for them. Likewise was when Krishna was present, the Yadus felt. So that is why he is
Yes,
as Mahapavitas. Like
Mahapurushikas, correct.
Thank
Yes, and we will also read as part of today's discussion, we will see how because of presence of Lord Krishna, the Yaduvamshis, they were completely fearless. They were not impacted with the limitations, with the fallacies that exist for the material beings. They were not applicable for the Yaduvamshis because of Lord Krishna's presence and connection with them. Thank you, Rasarangini Mataji. Maybe we'll have one more devotee. Prema Prakash Prabhu, you had raised your hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes,
I'm
Prabhu.
not very sure whether I understood question very well, but
Mm-hmm.
the way I understood, the way I can explain is Ek Pada, Tri Pada. The spiritual world at least is three times the material world. And so it is very vast and very enormous. The material world is limited and restricted. And there is one planet which is actually from the spiritual world, Vaikuntha planet, which is fixed in the material sky. That is a Dhruv planet offered to Maharaja Dhruv. That much I know, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Thank,
Prabhuji.
thank you, Prem Prakash Prabhu. So coming back to what we can draw from this, what we can draw is what we are missing in our life, what we have left behind to come to this place which is so temporary, so it has its expiry date, and within that place also we have our expiry date. So material universe expiry date is much ahead, but before that we are definitely going to perish and having to take next birth if we don't go back home, back to Godhead. That means that what we need to strive for, the spiritual, the scriptures say left, right, and center at so many different places, is something which is shashwat, which is eternal, rather than fighting for petty things and worrying for petty things in this material world and spending our whole life in pursuing these petty things. Like when I got up today, when I was just going through some of the headlines, I noticed that there has been a crime in our capital, financial capital of India, of a big politician, businessman, for a very petty reason related to a land and all. And when I was preparing, going through some of the verses, I could immediately remember that to what extent humans go, even to the extent of killing a fellow human being. For what? Which is something very, very insignificant, which is something very, very temporary. On the other hand, from the scriptures, what we come to know, that forget about earthly planet, the material universe itself is insignificant compared to any Vaikuntha planet that you take, even the smallest or minutest. That is even bigger than the biggest material universe. So we have to always strive for something which is eternal, which is our eternal home, rather than getting stuck with the temporary, what is the word Prabhupada use, sentient nature of this material world. So let's proceed. Text 37. Yes, so this will come later. Text 37. Any devotee would like to recite through Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Give me 1 minute. Rasarangini Radhika Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Yatpada mukhya karmana
Yatpadashushrushana mukhya karmana
Satyadayodvasta sahasrayoshitah
Satyadayo dvashta sahasrayoshitah
Nirchitya Shankhye Tridashamstadashitso
Nirjitya Sankhe Tridashamstadashito
Haranti Vijrayudha Vallabhochitah
Haranti Vajrayudha Vallabhojitaha. Translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada Vijay. Hare Krishna. Simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the most important of all services, the queens of Dwaraka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of the thunderbolts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains about the Yaduvamshis, specifically the queens of Dwaraka, led by Satyabhama, Rukmini, so on and so forth. How, because of their unwavering service to Lord Krishna and giving pleasure to the Lord by serving him and his lotus feet, they could get those comforts and those opulences which ordinarily no living being in this material world is entitled to, which are exclusively meant for the residents of the higher planetary systems, Swargaloka. Specifically, Srila Prabhupada refers to Satyabhama visiting along with Lord Krishna to the heavenly planet, and she being welcomed by the wife of Indradev, Sachi Devi, and Sachi Devi introducing Satyabhama to the mother of all devatas, who is Aditi. So Aditi and Kashyapa Muni, they are the mother and father of all the devatas, and Diti and Kashyapa Muni are the mother and father of the Daityas, the demons. So after Sachi Devi introduced Satyabhama to Aditi, and Aditi showed around the place of heavenly planets to Satyabhama. Satyabhama specifically liked the Parijata flowers, which grow in the Nandanandan garden of Indra, and there nothing happened. But after Lord Krishna returned along with his queens back to Dwaraka, Satyabhama expressed her wish to get that Parijata flower to Lord Krishna, which the Parijata flower which she saw in the Lord Indra's garden. And subsequent pastime we know that Lord Krishna, when he asked Indra, Indra was very attached and he resisted. And subsequently, there was a battle between Indradev and Lord Krishna. And Krishna defeated Indra and forcibly brought that Parijataka tree and basically put it in the garden of Satyabhama, in the backyard of her garden. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that these residents of Dwarka, specifically the relatives of Lord Krishna, they got so many facilities just because of their unwavering rendering of devotional service to Lord Krishna. They became entitled to things which are normal human beings are not entitled to. And secondly, Srila Prabhupada also mentions that it was not that Lord was attached or indebted in any way to devote himself to satisfy the wives, but being pleased by the devotional service that they were rendering, Krishna gave them all comforts and played just like a henpecked husband. So I'll just quickly read a part of the purport. But due to their becoming Lord's faithful wives, all of them enjoyed the special prerogatives of the great wives of the denizens of heaven. In other words, since the Lord is the proprietor of everything within his creation, it is not very astonishing for the queens of Dwaraka to have any rare thing from any part of the universe. And this particular statement in Srila Prabhupada's purport, I was relating with one of the article I had read recently, where the wife of the richest person in India, how she has arranged her home, including whatever is her specific choice, like specifically for the crockeries, it was mentioned that one particular crockery brand in Sri Lanka is very famous, and this household has got all the crockeries that are used in the kitchen from that brand, from that place in Sri Lanka. So I was thinking that yes, for a richest person in the country, definitely it is possible for him to source anything he likes or his spouse likes from any part of the world. Similarly, for Lord Krishna, he is being Sarveshwareshwara. He's being the Lord of the entire universe. It is definitely possible for him to fetch anything which his dear wives they demand, and that's why he could fetch even the Parijataka flowers, which are such are meant to grow only in heaven. He brought that tree to earthly planet just to please Satyabhama. So we proceed. So this is the mercy of Lord Krishna on his wives. Now next verse explains how Lord Krishna was also merciful to all other family of the Yadus, the Yadu Vamshis. Prema Priya Mataji, you want to recite?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
One second. One second. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yad bahudandabhyudo tayono jivano.
Yad
Yadbahudandabhyudayanu
Bahudandabhyudayanu
Yadu pravira yakuto bhayamuhu.
Yadu Pravira Yakuto Bhayamuhu
Adhikramanti angribir aratam balat.
Adhikramanti angrihi bhartam
Bala
Sabham sudharmam surasattamochitam.
Sabam Sudharma
Surasatmochitam.
Surasattamoditam.
Hare Krishna.
Translation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. The great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of Lord Sri Krishna, always remain fearless in every respect. And therefore, their feet trample over the Sudharma assembly house, which the best demigods deserved, but which was taken away from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Similar to Lord Krishna's one of the principal queens, Satyabhama, desiring Parijataka tree from the heaven, and Lord Krishna getting it, the Yadavas, they also forcibly brought Sudharma assembly, which Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, which is the assembly house of the Devatas. They liked it, and they also could get it to the earthly planet because of the presence and power of Krishna. And these Yadavas, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport how they had gained complete fearlessness because of their because of their connection to Lord Krishna, service to him, and being very pleasing to him. Purport, Mataji.
Purport. Those who are directly servitors of the Lord are protected by the Lord from all fearfulness, and they also enjoy the best of things, even if they are forcibly accumulated. The Lord is equal in behavior to all living beings, but is partial to his pure devotees, being very affectionate toward them.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah. The city of Dwarka was flourishing, being enriched with the best of things in the material world. The state assembly house is constructed according to the dignity of the particular state. In the heavenly planets, the state assembly house, called Sudharma, was deserving of the dignity of the best of the demigods. Such an assembly house is never meant for any state on the globe, because a human being on the earth is unable to construct it. However far a particular state may be materially advanced. But during the time of Lord Krishna's presence on the earth, the members of the Yadu family forcibly brought the celestial assembly house to earth and placed it at Dwarka. They were able to use such force because they were certain of the indulgence and protection of the Supreme Lord Krishna. In other words, the Lord is provided with the best things in the universe by his pure devotees. Lord Krishna was provided with all kinds of comforts and facilities available within the universe by the members of the Yadu dynasty. And in return, such servitors of the Lord were protected and fearless. A forgetful, conditioned soul is fearful, but a liberated soul is never fearful. Just as a small child, completely dependent on the mercy of his father, is never fearful of anyone. Fearfulness is a sort of illusion for the living being when he is in slumber and forgetting his eternal relation with the Lord. Since the living being is never to die by his constitution, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.20, then what is the cause of fearfulness? A person may be fearful of a tiger in a dream, but another man who is awake by his side sees no tiger there. The tiger is a myth for both of them, namely the person dreaming and the person awake, because actually there is no tiger. But the man forgetful of his awakened life is fearful, whereas a man who has forgotten his position is not at all fearful. Thus, the members of the Yadu dynasty were fully awake in their service to the Lord, and therefore there was no tiger for them to be afraid of at any point of time. Even if there were a real tiger, the Lord was there to protect them. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Manoj. So here, Srila Prabhupada explains how the Yaduvamshis, they achieved complete freedom from fear because of their constant connection with the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada explains that the cause of fear in this material world is when we forget that connection with the Lord. Just like a person who is asleep, he is completely unaware of the externals, and as a result, sometimes he dreams of being chased by a tiger within the dream, and he's crying and very fearful. But a person who is observing that sleeping person, he knows that there is no tiger around. He can see things as they are. And so the tiger is not there practically, but because a person is dreaming of a tiger, he suffers. Similarly, the Yadus, they were fully awake in their service to the Lord. They were fully aware of their connection with the Lord, and therefore there was no tiger. And Prabhupada concludes the purport by saying that even if there were a tiger, then they had no fear because Lord was personally there as to protect them. As we can see that so many demons who attacked not only Mathura but also Dwarka, and Krishna, although he had built Dwarka in a way that Yadus are not harmed and disturbed, but there were few attacks even on Dwarka which Krishna and Balaram resisted at a distance away from Dwarka. So they were completely fearless that even if some calamity were to come, Lord Krishna is there to protect them. So there is a very famous Vaishnava song by one of our Vaishnava poets, Bhajahu Remana by Govinda Das, where he sings Bhajahu Remana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindari Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange Tarahue Bhava Sindhure. That if we worship the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, which are completely possible, which are completely capable of giving this fearlessness from the fear in this material world, then it is possible for one to be fearless if we take shelter of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Otherwise, we see that everyone in this world, even if it may be a, a small sparrow on the street trying to eat few grains, or even billionaires. I was recently surprised that even these billionaires high up in the order in the Forbes list, most of them they need to take various medication in order to get peaceful sleep, because there is constant anxiety even at that level that whatever fortune I have, it could be taken away, or I might lose the rank in that Forbes list. So, for a person whose many generations can live without any anxiety, so much wealth they have, even they are not free from anxiety. Why? Because of not having that connection with the Lord. But the Yadavas, they were completely free of that fear. And similar to the Yadavas, we also see the friends of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. That it, Bhagavatam explains that Krishna used to kill a demon in Vrindavan every day as an appetizer, just to feel appetite, to feel hungry, to have the afternoon lunch prasadam. Krishna used to kill a demon. And for all these demons, Krishna never used even a single weapon for the demons he killed in Vrindavan. And the coward boys, they were never afraid of anything. For a demon like Aghasur, who came in the form of a giant python, whose mouth was like a cave, deep inside, deep dark inside, they were not afraid to enter the mouth of Aghasur because they knew even if there is a danger, Krishna will take care of it. So Krishna was anxious seeing his friends go enter the mouth of Aghasur, but the coward boys, they were completely fearless because of their strong connection with Lord Krishna and always depending on, always being dependent upon him. So Yudhishthir Maharaj till now has inquired from Arjuna about the well-being of Yadu Vanshis, including Maharaj Ugrasen, including Vasudev, Devaki, and all other relatives in paternal affection to Lord Krishna. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj has gone on to check about the queens of Dwaraka, those who are in conjugal relationship with the Lord. And he's also checked about Lord Krishna, that hope he is enjoying in the Sudharma assembly hall with all the Yadu Vanshis. After inquiring about the Yadavas, finally Yudhishthir Maharaj starts asking about the well-being of Arjuna himself, seeing his dejected state. So we will go through these verses, and the crux of these verses from text 39 till text 43 are the different reasons for Arjuna as a Kshatriya to be dejected. Like what all can cause a Kshatriya to be dejected, or if seen other way around, what all are the duties of a Kshatriya which, if he is not able to perform properly, can cause him dejection. So let us see what are some of the inquiries by Yudhishthir Maharaj. Any devotee would like to recite Prabhuji's, Mataji's, Hare Krishna? So two devotees have raised. Usha Mataji, you can recite this, and Devika Mataji, you can recite the next one. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, text 14.39.
Just one second. One second. Open here. Yes,
Kachitte anamayam tata.
Kachitte
anamayam
tata.
Hrashtateja vibhasi me.
Rashtateja vibhasi me.
Alabdhamano avajñataha.
Alabdhamano avajñataha.
Kim va tata chiroshitaha.
Kim va tata chiroshitaha. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is inquiring, Kaschitte namayam tata. Tata means brother. That, oh my dear brother, is everything all right? Why is he asking this? Usha Mataji, why Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking this to Arjuna? What is the reason? That is everything all right?
Because Arjuna looks very forlorn and very sad. And
yes.
Yes.
Yes, he looks very dejected. There are tears rolling down his cheeks, and so far, whatever inquiries Yudhishthir Maharaj has made, Arjuna has not spoken even a single word. He is completely quiet. He is not answering Yudhishthir Maharaj. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is becoming more and more anxious. And alabdha mano vashnataha. That now he is inquiring about the various probable reasons, speculating. As we will see, there is a word that comes in Bhagavatam which shows that Arjuna, he was not able to respond to any of these speculative inquiries from Yudhishthir Maharaj, starting with this. Alabdhamano vachnataha. What is the meaning? That did you not receive proper mana, proper respect while staying there in Dwaraka for too long? Was that the reason? But it was not possible for Arjuna to not receive proper respect, because first of all, he was a very intimate friend of Lord Krishna. Not only was he an intimate friend, but he was also a very close relative of Krishna, because of Krishna getting his sister Subhadra married to Arjuna. So it was not possible for this to happen. But Yudhishthir Maharaj still wanted to touch upon every single thing which could go wrong, because of which Arjuna could probably be dejected. Please continue with the translation, Mataji.
Yeah. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My brother Arjuna, please tell me whether your health is all right. You appear to have lost your bodily luster. Is this due to other disrespecting and neglecting you because of your long stay at Dwarka?
Yes. So here two reasons are given by Yudhishthir Maharaj as the probable reasons why a Kshatriya could get dejected. One is if the health is not right, or second is if there is not proper due respect that is offered to him. So we won't go through the purport. These are small purports, but you can go through wherever there is some important point. There we will go in detail. Devika Mataji, please unmute. And 1 second. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Shloka 40. Kachin abhihato bhavai
Kachin
Kachinabihato
abhihato
bhavaihi
shabdadhibhir amangalai
Shabdadhibhir amangalai
nadatta muktam athirbhya
Nadatam
Nadatam
muktam
atam
atibhya
ashaya yat pratishrutam
Ashaya yat pratishrutam. So, translation. Mhm.
Prabhu, you have to scroll down.
Okay.
Has someone addressed you with unfriendly words or threatened you? Could you not give charity to one who asked? Or could you not keep your promise to someone? Should I
Yes.
read the purport?
Yeah, you can read through the purport.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. A Kshatriya or a rich man is sometimes visited by persons who are in need of money. When they are asked for a donation, it is the duty of the possessor of wealth to give in charity in consideration of the person, place, and time. These discrepancies are sometimes causes of despondency and thus failing. A person becomes subjected to criticism, which might also be the cause of Arjuna's plight.
Thank you. Thank you. So specifically, the two reasons that are mentioned here is, has Arjuna been addressed in unkind manner by anyone, or has he not been able to give charity to any deserving person who came asking for charity? So yesterday in temple we were hearing, we had a very nice presentation by a devotee from Mayapur, representative of the Bhaktivedanta Swami Charity Trust, which takes care of uh, renovation and maintenance of many places of pastimes in relation to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Brajamandala. And basically, the devotee was seeking some help from the congregation here to reinstate and restore places related to two great devotees, including Ramachandra Kaviraj and Saranga Murari, who happened to be both great devotees of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in explaining about this devotee's request, Devkinandan Prabhu was explaining that Lakshmi, once it is available, if we don't use it in Krishna's service, then it remains very chanchala. It doesn't stay in one place. And Lakshmi, even if some Lakshmi is given in charity, we will always have opportunity to earn it again. The opportunity to earn will never go. But Prabhuji mentioned the opportunity will not come again, definitely. And to be honest, I still remember all those times wherever the opportunities, great opportunities arose, and I took some time in thinking, and somehow in the flow of the day-to-day task, completely missed noticing that opportunity again. And now, when I remember those times, it pinches that, oh God, how much that amount was. I could have benefited so much, or that devotee could have benefited so much if I leveraged upon that opportunity and acted on that instinct immediately. Rather than that, if we are holding on whether to give it or not, here Bhagavatam clearly mentions a kshatriya or a rich man, even if we are not kshatriya, if we have facility, if we have ability to help in some way, we should do, even if it may be in a smaller scale. We should not lose that as an opportunity. Shastras mention it is imperative for a person who has got this wealth. It is the duty of a possessor of wealth to give in charity in consideration of the person, time, place, and circumstances. We should definitely give. It is required. And if we don't give that, then somewhere it is a discrepancy in the discharge of our duty. So these two were also the causes that were mentioned as speculative reasons for Arjuna's rejection by Yudhishthir Maharaj. So we continue. So there will be 41, 42, and 43, three more verses where Yudhishthir Maharaj gives almost 6 to 7 more speculative reasons for Arjuna's rejection. So we will quickly go through them. Please keep your hands raised, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, whoever would like to recite. So yes, we have few devotees. Divya Rukmini Mataji, you can start. 1 second. 41.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kachitvam Brahmanam Balam.
Kachitvam Brahmanam Balam.
Balam.
Gamruddham Roginam Striyam.
Gamraddham Yoginam Striyam.
Charanobasrutam Sattvam.
Sharanopastrutam Sattvam.
Natyakshi Sharanapratha.
Natyakshi Sharanapratah. Translation. Translation.
You are always the protector of the deserving living beings, such as brahmanas, children, cows, women, and the deceased. Could you not give them protection when they approach you for shelter?
Yes. So here Yudhishthir Maharaj is giving another speculative reason that probably Arjuna, is it that you could not offer your protection to those who should be protected by the Kshatriyas, including the Brahmana, children, cows, women, and deceased? And specifically in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains Brahmanas as a class in the historical times, they were completely dependent on the other members of the society for their maintenance because they were not spending their time and effort to make a living, to earn a living. They were totally dedicating their time and effort to uh, give the knowledge of the scriptures for the well-being of all other classes, and whatever would come on its own accord, they were happy and satisfied with that. So it was one of the duties of the Kshatriyas to maintain them, to offer them protection. And similarly, the other classes who are vulnerable, including the children, cows, women, and the deceased. So is it that you could not offer these vulnerable classes protection because of which you are dejected? And two more verses. Gita Mataji, please unmute.
Yes, Prabhu. Kanchitvam nagamo gamyam.
Kachitvam nagamo gamyam.
Gamyam vasatkratam striyam.
Gamyam vasatkratam striyam.
Parajito vata bhavan.
Parajito bhavan.
Nato mair nasamai pati.
Nottamai pati.
Translation. Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character, or have you not properly treated a deserving woman? Or have you been defeated on the way by someone who is inferior or equal to you?
Yes. So here another guideline that is offered in the scriptures for the Kshatriyas is mentioned by Yudhishthir Maharaj, that has Arjuna contacted any woman that he should not, and who are the women that a Kshatriya should not contact, that is mentioned by Prabhupada in the purport. So where we have the concept of Anulom and Pratilom marriages. So exactly, I don't recollect which one is what, but basically, a Kshatriya is allowed in the Vedic terms to marry a woman who is either of Kshatriya class or lower, say from Vaishya or Shudra family. But historically, a Kshatriya is not supposed to marry a Brahmana woman because amongst the 7 mothers that are mentioned in the scriptures, one of the 7 mothers is Brahmana's wife, king's wife, guru's wife, one's mother, earth, nurse, and so on and so forth. These are the 7 mothers. So, have you contacted a woman which you should not have contacted? Or other way around is for a Kshatriya, if a woman comes asking for shelter or for marriage, then a Kshatriya is supposed to accept her. Like we have so many examples that when Hidimba, who came from a background even lower than the Shudras, from the family of Asuras, she came proposing Bhimasen, and on Kunti's instruction, Bhimasen, although unwilling, accepted her as wife. And we have many other instances. Uh, so, has something like that happened with you where a deserving woman came asking for shelter and you could not offer your shelter? Or have you been defeated by somebody who is either equal or inferior? So, we will cover both of these one by one. First one is a Kshatriya should accept a woman who is either of a equal stature or of lower, but not the Brahmana woman. So we see Prabhupada gives various examples, like say for example, specifically Prabhupada gives example of Maharaj Yayati, who was approached by whom? Who approached Yayati Maharaj?
Devayani.
Devyani. Devyani was the daughter of a Brahmana, Shukracharya. And that's why Yayati Maharaj was very reluctant to accept Devyani because she was a daughter of a Brahmana. And finally, at the insistence of Shukracharya, who allowed, allowed and asked Yayati Maharaj to accept his daughter, did Yayati accept Devyani as his spouse, as his wife? And we also have other examples. Like say, for example, can we think of any other example, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, of uh, a person in a so the other way, this is like a pratilom, the example that we gave of Yayati and Devyani. Can we think of any anulom marriage where person from a higher stature accepted a wife from different class based on
Kardamamuni.
Kardama? Very nice, Mataji. Who did Kardama Muni accept?
Manu.
Devahuti.
Daughter.
Yeah,
Devahuti.
Devahuti.
Yeah.
So from the Varnashram point of view, we see that Manu, being one of the Prajapati's initial sons of Lord Brahma, he was a Kshatriya, he was the ruler, administrator of the mankind. But Kardama Muni was a ascetic, he was a Brahmana, but he did accept a wife from Kshatriya family because it was ordained by the Lord. And Swayambhuva Manu, although being the father of the mankind, he also readily offered his daughter, even seeing the no possessions at all and the ascetic nature of Kardama Muni. Seeing his spiritual qualification, he trusted Lord's judgment and the marriage was finalized. So we see both examples in the scriptures. And if this is not followed, then what happens? What happens is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Basically, if these rules, so it is not about exact caste system, but it is based on the compatibility of the groom and the bride. So if they are not compatible in terms of their character, then the children which would come as a result of such union, Lord Krishna calls them as Varna Sankaras, unwanted population, which will cause disturbance and havoc in the whole world. So this was mentioned as one of the reasons, probable reasons why Arjuna could have been dejected. This was mentioned as the reason by Yudhishthir Maharaj. So I see many hands raised, so probably we'll ask devotees. Are there any questions, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? You can unmute.
I have a doubt, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. So, like you said, Bhima, Hidamba will be the right. Will that be very similar for Krishna marrying, Jambavi also? Will that come under the, the lower caste because he was a Kshatriya?
Yes, but basically, see, these marriages are allowed if they are recommended and sanctioned by authorities, then they are allowed.
Sure.
When they are not allowed is when they are like forcible one or whimsical ones. Okay, so we saw the exceptions in the case of Devahuti marrying Kardama Muni, in the case of Devayani marrying Yayati, but these are exceptions which are sanctioned by authorities.
Sure.
We also see what happens when there are superior authorities. We will see all is well that ends well, although there are any discrepancies, as there were discrepancies in the marriage of Yayati and Devyani. Later on, the Yayati got into serious trouble, but because at some level there was support from the authorities, he could be reinstated from that difficult situation, and ultimately he did go back home, back to Godhead. That's why his name is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. We also see example of another one of the initial, not exactly Prajapatis, but children, grandchildren of Lord Brahma, Maharaj Priyavrat, who was a total ascetic renunciate, not wanting to marry and get into family life. But Brahmaji asked him to get into family life and help him progenate. And because of Brahma is a authority basically. Because of Brahma's blessings and instructions, when Maharaj Priyavrat subsequently got distracted a bit while handling the rule of the kingdom and he got deviated, still, because the marriage was based on the authority of Lord Brahma, Krishna helped him get reinstated and he finally did come to the right path and went back home, back to Godhead. So this is very important. The sanction, authority and blessings of the authorities, then we are safe. Otherwise, if we are doing it whimsically, then there could be troubles. Any other questions? Ishwari, Murari, Priya, Mataji, Jagadananda Prabhu, Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji. Anyone has any question?
No, Prabhu. I be hand raised for
This side. Sure. Okay. So before we proceed to the next verse, we'll see the second reason which was mentioned by Yudhishthir Maharaj. Being a Kshatriya should not be defeated by somebody equal or inferior. If he is defeated by somebody who is superior, then it is all right. And Prabhupada in the purport gives the example of Bhishma being superior to Arjuna. Prabhupada clearly mentions, and even Mahabharata mentions, Arjuna was destined to be killed n number of times on the battle of Kurukshetra, and Krishna protected him every single time. And specifically, Prabhupada writes about Arjuna being completely overwhelmed by the power and the archery skills of Bhishmadev. Prabhupada mentioned that Bhishmadev was superior to Arjuna in the skills, age, experience, everything, in the power also. And that's why, even without those 5 arrows that Bhishmadev had put aside to kill the Pandavas, Bhishma was completely able to defeat Arjuna to the extent that Mahabharata mentions Arjuna was just like a sitting duck in front of Bhishma, and any time he could have killed him if not for Krishna to intervene. And Krishna, sensing danger to his devotee's life, Arjuna's life, personally intervened and basically attacked Bhishmadev. So this was not considered as a insult to Arjuna. Why? Because Bhishmadev was superior, and being killed by Bhishmadev was still not considered as a discrepancy for Arjuna, because Bhishmadev was very superior in martial skills. But when it came to Arjuna's fight with Karna, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Karna was equal in strength. And if Karna were to defeat Arjuna, that would have been a great insult, and probably everything could have gone topsy-turvy in Krishna's plan about how the battle should happen and how subsequently Yudhishthir Maharaj should be enthroned as the king. So Krishna tricked at that particular time and got Arjun to kill Karna when he was not armed, when he was trying to get the struck wheel out of the earth. That time Krishna asked Arjun to attack Karna, which was not exactly according to the moral codes of conduct for Kshatriya. So this is also mentioned what is manageable and what is considered as a aberration, what is considered as a deviation from the norm. Hare Krishna. Any questions, queries before if not, we proceed. Rohini Mataji, you have any question, query?
No, Prabhuji, I just raised my hand to read.
Or you want? Yes. And in the okay, fine. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that while the contact between man and woman is natural, some of these norms, some of these regulations that are mentioned in the scriptures needed to be followed if we want a good population in the world. Otherwise, there will be only mischievous and criminal-minded population, Varna Sankaras. So we will recite this. Who is the next one? Is it Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji? You can recite text 43. And Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji, you can recite the next one. 43.
Api sweet paraya bhuntasvam.
Api
Api
Parya
Svedparya
Sambojayan Vriddha Vamakan.
Sambojan Vradha
Balakan
Balaka
Jugupsisam karma kinche.
Jugupsitam
Jugupsitam Karma Kinche
Kritavanayat asa akshamam.
Kratavana Yadakshamam. Translation.
Translation by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Have you not taken care of old men and boys who deserve to dine with you? Have you left them and taken your meals alone? Have you committed some unpardonable mistake which is considered to be abominable? Hare Krishna.
Abominable. Thank you, Mataji. So here, basically, the another two reasons are given by Maharaj Yudhishthir. So these I have jotted down in the slides, all the reasons given by Maharaj Yudhishthir, which were the speculative inquiries. Somewhere you will find 10 reasons mentioned. Basically, the reasons are same, just the sequencing might differ slightly here and there. So all these reasons, taking one's meals alone without checking if anyone outside is hungry. So we see in the glorious case of Maharaj Rantidev, whose example we have earlier seen, that when he was about to break his fast at the end of 48-day long fast, when a Yavana came along with his dogs who were all hungry and thirsty, and before that a Brahmana came, he was not at all having a second thought that whether I should reserve some part of the food just for myself. He gave all his food, all his water also, and then these Yavana, the dogs, and the Brahmanas, all of them took form of the Devatas. So these are all mentioned as some of the duties as a Kshatriya, for which there should be no discrepancy. And Yudhishthir Maharaj checked with Arjuna, has there been any breach because of which he is so upset? And now we come to the last verse of this particular chapter. We will also start chapter 15 today. So in this verse, after checking about the well-being of Yadus, after checking about the well-being of Arjuna, has anything gone wrong? Now Yudhishthir Maharaj mentions the final doubt which he has in his mind, which is, has Krishna left this world? So Jagadananda Murari Prabhu and Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji, you can recite. 1 second. Yes. Kachit Preshtatame Natha Hridayenatma Bandhuna
Shunyosmi rahito nityam.
Shunyosmi Rahito Nityam
Manyasete anyatha naru.
Manyasete Anyata Naru. So here Yudhishthir Maharaj is finally asking Arjuna, Kaschit preshtatam preshtatamena natha. Or is it, my dear Arjuna, Ruda e natma bandhuna, that friend of yours with whom you had heart to heart relationship and connection, whether that friend of yours, Lord Krishna, has departed. Translation, Mataji.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Or, or is it that you are feeling empty for all time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? Oh, my brother Arjuna, I can think of no other reason for your becoming so dejected.
Yes. So now Yudhishthir Maharaj, having exhausted all other speculations, what he could think of as the reason for Arjuna's dejection, finally has asked this doubt of his. Purport, Mataji.
But all the inquisitiveness of Maharaja Yudhishthira about the world situation was already conjunctured by Maharaja Yudhishthira on the basis of Lord Krishna's disappearance from the vision of the world. And this was now disclosed by him because of the acute dejection of Arjuna, which could not have been possible otherwise. So even though he was doubtful about it, he was obliged to inquire frankly from Arjuna on the basis of Sri Narada's indication. Correct?
Thank you, Mother. So here we see, like we have been getting hints of this from the previous chapter itself, that Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was not an ordinary personality. He was a person who could understand a thing even with a very slight reference, a very high level reference. He had that spiritual intelligence because of the blessings of Lord Krishna. And this Yudhishthir Maharaj, firstly, he had many hints of this. Firstly, his inquiries about Yadus, they went unanswered from Vidura's side. While Vidura answered everything else, he conveniently skipped Yudhishthir Maharaj's inquiry about how the Yadus were doing. This was a first hint why Vidura had not answered this. Second is Narad Muni's hint to Yudhishthir Maharaj that he and the Pandavas should continue as long as Lord Krishna is there on the present on the earth. So, which also showed that probably it is imminent that Lord Krishna will conclude his pastimes shortly. Third, Maharaj Yudhishthir observed n number of bad omens and he also discussed them with Bhimasen. Fourth, when Arjuna returned, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he inquired about the well-being of Yadus, well-being of Krishna's wives, and about his own Arjuna's well-being. He asked, and all those inquiries, Arjuna was completely silent and quiet. He was not able to speak even a single word, and Arjuna's face had dejection written all over it. So all these hints were more than sufficient for Yudhishthir Maharaj to know for sure that Krishna has left this world, but his heart was not willing to accept it. But finally, after inquiring so many speculative inquiries, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he lets go and he asked, is it that my dear Arjuna, that Krishna has left this world? So why is Yudhishthir Maharaj or devotees in general, they are not able to cope up with separation from the Lord? So we see so many reasons in the previous chapters when we were uh, studying Queen Kunti's prayers or when we were studying Bhishmadev's glorification of the Pandavas in relation to having Krishna as their main wealth. We see all these prayers, all these verses, they point to a very intimate relationship that the Pandavas had with Lord Krishna. And what to speak of Lord Krishna leaving the world, just let's go back and remember the point where Krishna was about to depart from Hastinapur to Dwarka. Bhagavatam mentions that Pandavas were completely restless. They were like looking at their feet, scratching the earth with their toenails. and they simply were not knowing how to lead their life after Lord Krishna leaves them and goes to Dwaraka. So there are quite a few verses, but only few I have shortlisted here, which depict the intimate relationship that the Pandavas had with Lord Krishna. So maybe we will go through these. Rohini Mataji, would you like to recite this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Uh,
First one.
SB 1.9.15. Yatra dharma suto raja.
Yatra dharma
Dharmasito Raja
Gadapanir Vrikodhara. Krishno Astri Gandivam Chapam.
Krishno
Chapam
Shurhat Krishnastato Vipat.
Who is saying this? Prabhuji's Mataji's? Who is remembering this? Based on the verse number? You can refer to Bhagavatam, your Bhagavatam.
Bhishma Pitama.
Bhishma Pitama, yes. Bhishma Pitama is remembering the different difficulties that the Pandavas had to go through despite having A, B, C, D. And what are those A, B, C, D? Let us see. The translation, Mataji.
Translation. Oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of the demigod controlling religion? Bhima, the great fighter with a club. The great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva. And above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas.
Yes. So, in all the treasures and the wealth that Pandavas possessed, including having somebody like Yudhishthir Maharaj as their lead, who was literally the religion personified. He was the son of the Devata controlling the religion. They had the strongest of the military warriors, including Bhimasen, who had the strength of 10,000 elephants, no ordinary being. And they also had Arjuna holding the Gandiva bow, who even successfully fought with great devatas like Indradev and even Lord Shiva. And he defeated Indradev. And Lord Shiva was personally very pleased with seeing the might of Arjuna, although there was no conclusion to the fight. So all these great personalities, Pandavas counted within the five brothers. But Bhishma Dev remembers the major treasure that the Pandavas had. They had none other than Lord Krishna as the Surut. Surut means heart-to-heart friend, as their eternal well-wisher, as Lord Krishna. So how is it possible for such set of personalities who have got so many ticks against them to still have reverses in their lives? So this is Bhishma Dev's remembrance, where he remembers the intimate connection of Lord Krishna with the Pandavas. Similarly, there is one more verse. Rohini Mataji, please continue.
Hare Krishna. SB Prabhuji, I
110,
can't.
110, 12.
110, 12. Tasmin nastya dhiya partah. Saheran viraham katham. Darshana sparsha samlapa. Shayanasana bhojanayah.
If you want, you can read from your own Bhagavatam copy, Mataji. 110, 12 translation.
Translation. One second. 1, 10, 12. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping. 1 minute, Prabhuji.
Mhm. I'll make it small. 1 second.
Sitting around.
Yeah.
Seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him.
Yes. So Pandavas not only had Krishna as their heart-to-heart well-wisher friend, but they had so many intimate one-on-one personal interactions with the Lord that we saw when Krishna was leaving for Dwarka from Hastinapur, that they could have day-to-day personal audience with the Lord, touch the Lord, have conversation with him face to face, sleep with the Lord, have prasadam with the Lord, food with the Lord. So they had so many interactions with Lord Krishna, living as one of their family members. So it is like, say, for example, if we ask a pauper who has never seen wealth, that what would happen if you lose 1 crore, probably he won't be able to feel it, right? Because he has never experienced the feeling of possessing that wealth in the first go. Or if you ask a person who has never tasted a delicacy, say for example, pizza or a forest cake or any other delicacy, say gulab jamun or rasgulla, then if you tell a person who has never tasted rasgulla how you would feel if you are not given rasgulla for 15 days or for a month, he would probably not able to understand how difficult it would be because he doesn't know how does rasagulla taste. But for a person who has been enjoying these facilities on a day-to-day basis, the person who has got rasgulla as a staple item in his food, day-to-day food, he would feel longing if you don't give him that specific uh, favorite food item for a fortnight or for a month. Similarly, Pandavas, they were used to associating with the Lord on a daily basis as one of their family members. And when Lord Krishna was living just physically to a different place from Hastinapur to Dwarka, they were so disturbed, remembering all these interactions they had with Lord Krishna. And now Yudhishthir Maharaj is facing the prospect of Lord Krishna having left them forever. So it is very, very difficult for him to accept this truth, accept this reality. And as a result, we see he is trying to put forth every other speculative argument, what could have gone wrong, but not wanting to accept this truth, which he ultimately came to terms with. Similarly, we also see not only Pandavas, but even their great mother, Queen Kunti. Rohini Mataji, continue for this verse. This is known verse.
Okay, ma'am. Prabhuji. Vipada santuta shashvat.
Vipada santuta shashvat.
Shashvat.
Tatra tatra jagadguru.
Tatra tatra jagadguru.
Bhavato darshanam yat shad.
Bhavato darshanam yasya.
Apunarbhava darshanam.
Punarbhava darshanam.
So here we, yeah, go ahead with the translation.
I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we no longer see repeated births and deaths. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here we see Kunti Devi, she is willing to endure all these difficult situations in life. Which all difficult situations? Including having an attempt on lives of her sons being burnt in the house of Lacs, having an attempt on the life of Bhimasen being fed poison. Her daughter-in-law, Draupadi, almost she getting insulted in the whole assembly and also almost being disrobed in the whole assembly of the Kurus. So, and having the Abhimanyu killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, or the 5 sleeping children of Pandavas being killed within their sleep unscrupulously by Ashwatthama, she is willing to go through all these calamities and difficult situations again and again, but she is not ready to accept Lord Krishna's departure from Hastinapur to Dwaraka. So Krishna was that dear to Pandavas and to Kunti Devi and all these devotees that these calamities they were totally fine, provided they still had the company and support of Lord Krishna with them. They were willing to endure all these calamities. But now, when Krishna was about to depart, it was unbearable for them. And these all these prayers that I showed you, they are from the time when Krishna was still physically with them. He was only going to a different place from Hastinapur to Dwaraka. But now, when confirming the truth that Krishna has departed from this world altogether, it was very, very difficult for Yudhishthir Maharaj and the Pandavas and Mother Kunti and everybody else in the Pandava family to accept this. And similarly, we also see other great devotees of the Lord, specifically Maharaj Dasharath's example in Ramayana. When Vishwamitra came asking for a help from Dasharath Maharaj, even without confirming what helps Vishwamitra Muni needs, he committed to fulfill that wish and to help Vishwamitra with whatever he desires. And Vishwamitra, he asked for Dasharath Maharaj's teenager, young son, Lord Ramachandra, to accompany him. And Dasharath Maharaj, he said that Ramachandra is very young, his body is very tender, he won't be able to fight with the Rakshasas as good as I. So I will personally come along with all my Chaturangi, all my Sena, all my army to help you with deal with this. But please don't ask for Ramachandra, he's my life. Not only that, Dasharath Maharaj was even willing to go back on his commitment to Vishwamitra Muni. And if not for Vasishta, who was the priest of Dasharath Maharaj, remem- remembering and reminding Dasharath Maharaj of the difficult time he could face if he goes back on his promise. Because Vishwamitra had not so pleasant interactions earlier with Vasishta, desiring the Kamadhenu cow. So both had a very difficult time and fight. So Vasishta Rishi very well knew what all Vishwamitra could do if Dasharath Maharaj goes back on his promise, including threat to his own life as well, to Dasharath Maharaj's life. But Dasharath Maharaj was willing to take that risk, seeing the apparent separation from Lord Ramachandra, who was going for a very short span of time. Not only that, Ramayan mentions that Vasishta Muni reassured Dasharath Maharaj that Vishwamitra does not need Ramachandra and Lakshman to deal with the Rakshasas. He himself is so capable that he can kill thousands of Rakshasas single-handedly. He is the ex-Kshatriya. Not only is an ex-Kshatriya, he also possesses great yogic strength because of his austerities. So don't take him lightly. Understand that Ramachandra and Lakshman both are very safe in Vishwamitra Rishi's care. So don't worry about well-being of your children. Nothing wrong will happen to them. Don't worry. And then somehow Dasharath Maharaj agreed. But subsequently, when Lord Ramachandra got married, came back, and when Kaikeyi asked for that boon to be fulfilled by sending Lord Ramachandra into exile to forest, Dasharath Maharaj couldn't bear that separation. Although it was Treta Yuga time-wise, it was only 14 years. How long do the residents of the Treta Yuga they live? How far?
It was extra. 10,000 years.
10,000.
10,000.
10,000.
Yes, 10,000 in general, but there are examples of people living even tens and thousands of years, like the tapasya done by Vishwamitra. It was even for a longer duration. So, compared to 10,000, even if you consider as the bare minimum, 14 years was nothing in comparison to 10,000 years. But even for those 14 years, Dasharath Maharaj was simply not able to bear separation from Lord Ramachandra, going away from him, and finally he gave up his life. So these are some of the emotions experienced by these devotees because they have experienced the feeling of union with the Lord. They have experienced the feeling of staying with the Lord, interacting with the Lord on a day-to-day basis. So when it is time for separation, it becomes very, very difficult for such devotees to accept this difficult time. For us, it is like a theoretical, like at some time we have definitely been with Krishna, but because of our forgetfulness of him, we are now trying to recollect those memories that probably what we could feel if we remember all those good times that we have had with Krishna, that these devotees are feeling now, that Yudhishthir Maharaj is feeling now. And we also read about Vrajavasi's distress when Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura. We see that the gopis, they literally went mad, where they started talking to bumblebees. They started enacting various pastimes of Lord Krishna, remembering him. We see Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. They were completely you know, disoriented in the thoughts and remembrance of Lord Krishna, where it is mentioned that day and night Yashoda Mata, she used to cry tears profusely in separation from Lord Krishna. Why? Because at some level these devotees had experienced what it is like to be with Krishna as part of their day-to-day life. So it was very difficult for them to accept separation from him. And we also see about departure of so many, like say for example, when Lord Krishna was about to depart, we see that Advaita Acharya brought that uh, that message to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that the rice is no more in demand in the market, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got a clue what Advaita Acharya means by that. He knew that it means that whatever purpose Lord had arrived for, that has already been fulfilled, which is spreading the holy names of the Lord. And if Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wishes, he could conclude his pastime. And devotees were very much in separation even before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concluded. Or when it was announced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he would be accepting sannyas, the feelings of separation, imminent separation, not even actual separation, that were felt by Srivas Thakur and other devotees, Chaitanya Charitamrut explains those to great detail. Or finally, in subsequent chapters, we will also see the feeling of separation expressed by Mother Earth after Lord Krishna's departure. That comes in the conversation between religion personified and Mother Earth, where she explains that Romotsavo Mama Yat Angri Vitankitayaha. That means Utsava, Lord Krishna walking on the surface of the earth, it was exactly like a festival for Mother Earth, where the Romancha, where the hairs on her body would stand on end because of Lord Krishna's touch, because of Lord Krishna's connect. So she is remembering that now that Lord Krishna has concluded his pastimes on my surface and returned back to his own abode, then even earth is feeling the separation. So these are some of the examples we see, and these are very few. On the right hand side, I have put the photo of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in separation from Lord Krishna, where even to this day there are stones available with the the body print of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu where he fell in ecstasy in separation from Lord Krishna. Like if we go to Alalnath, which is around 30-40 kilometers from Jagannath Puri, we have a whole body print of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the stone, where he felt in separation from Jagannath during the period of Anavasar, when Jagannath Swami is away for due to fever after the Snana Yatra is conducted. So around 10 days period, around 2 weeks period, Jagannath darshan is not available. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to feel so much separation. Why? Because all these devotees, they have experienced union with the Lord. So we can take inspiration that if they are feeling it, what we are missing. At some level, we also had that union with Krishna. But now in our current state, we have completely forgotten it. And we can at least appreciate through the examples of these devotees what was their intensity of love for Krishna. So this concludes the chapter 14. It does not talk about the actual pastime of Krishna living this world. It does talk in great length about the effect living of Lord Krishna had on his intimate devotees, specifically Maharaj, Yudhishthir, and so on and so forth. So in the subsequent chapters which we are going to start, after taking any queries you may have, we will see which is the Pandavas, although the chapter is entitled The Pandavas Retire Timely, the beginning part of this chapter deals greatly with the pangs of separation felt